Caner Universe, it's Caner Tip Tuesday, and today we're answering the question, to block or not to block with the cane. What do you mean? Of course you gotta block with that cane. Well, in ACSD, there's blocks and then there's blocks, and I'll show you today what I mean by that. But before we do that, a warm welcome as always to all you faithful followers of the Cane Fist Way, as well as those of you who are here for the first time. A warm welcome from sunny MIA here at the world headquarters. Go ahead and avail yourself of these 2 free resources now before you forget. The first thing you want to do is text the letters CCC to 305-745-7839. That stands for Cane Clarity Call. It's a call in less than 24 hours. We'll be on the phone with you and finding out what it is that attracts you to the cane. Why are you watching right now? Is it out of curiosity? You've been watching for a while. You know, watching video is good. It's fun. It gives you insights, shows you potential, but not a lot gets done unless you have a plan, blueprint, structure, how to actually get cane trained in the comfort of wherever you are in the world. We've been doing this for decades. And let's find out if that's something that is for you and answer any questions you might have on canes or the cane culture in general. And then the second free resource, look in the description. We have a no-cost, it's the first free Facebook group from ACSD. It's called CaneFlow, Move Better, Protect Better, Live Better. Just request entry, and there we educate caners on what CaneFlow is, and it's just a great community. So we welcome you in there. You're invited to join us. So to block or not to block, what do you mean? How is that not you have to block? Well, there's blocks and there's blocks, and ACSD is so particular about what people refer to as blocking. And the first thing there, I'll show you, I'll just give you a visual and you'll know right away. An example of something we don't do in ACSD is you won't find something that looks like this, okay? Now, we know that that's used a lot and a lot of other stick combative system, impact tools. This looks pretty solid. You're in a good stance and you're doing this. The reason we don't do that is from the onset, ACSD always concerned about 2 things. The multiple assailants, so not leaving any openings when you're blocking, and then also defending against a tool, against blades in particular, right? So we're very concerned with that. And if you go ahead and do this, as solid as this looks, when she comes over, whether it's this or it's a punch, notice that all this is open. Well, not just that, but you could have different ACSD and CaneFlow, which is what the series is in particular, always very movement based with a concern for covering the guard zone. An imaginary rectangle that is covering the vital angles that you can get hit on, right? So instead of that, I'm going to use 2 examples that ACSD caners are familiar with. If you look at your 12 strike and defend zones, you have a number 10 and it looks like this, and then you have an 11 which looks like this. So whenever you see these types, you know, there's some stab, and you have, this is known as a roof block, and I know that roof blocks, nothing new there, right? Other systems, Filipino martial arts, and I hear that all the time, roof block. I'm gonna explain how we look at that in ACSD, and you have it from 2 sides. So let's look at the one that you may be more familiar with, and that's the one that's coming to your right side. It's our number 11, ACSD caners. We know this is a number 11. This is a shot that's coming diagonal, right? To crack your clavicle. That's the baseball bat coming at you. It can be a punch, it can be whatever it is, a metal pipe, anything coming in here. And what we're looking to do is to get out of there and strike. Now, you heard contact. Ideally, you don't want any contact. Ideally, my footwork would be so good that I don't even have to make contact. And the cane comes on a slant, almost like if I'm late because I'm human, it should roll off, but it's not intended to stop it in its tracks, which would necessitate both of those, right? I'm not even trying to knock it down, even though we prefer that, right? We prefer that. But here, I'm rolling off of it, and then I'm so close in this case that I can strike with the horn, or strike, just come off, strike the limbs, strike the clavicle as well. So what you're looking at is something that looks like this, and I'm using a step drag towards that 1 or 2 o'clock, right? That is that roof block. But again, it was intended ideally so that your footwork, I always say, gets you in and out of trouble, right? You want to get to a safe place. I don't want to stop that in its track and leave myself open ever here. The other one would be your number 10. It actually comes before that 11. And this is now the diagonal shot that's coming this way. So this could be a roundhouse punch, but maybe they're coming in with a tool. And you see it done this way now in ACSD, the palm up. It throws caners off a little bit because a lot of times you try to come to this side this way, and it doesn't work the same. And I'll explain why we did that. So here, look at how close I am with the footwork. It's simple, it looks easy, but until you try to do it, you might not end up there. Maybe you go to do it, you're over here. The problem with that is she can come right back. Look at it here again. Look at how close that one, right? And then you're in here and you can do the work that you need to do. So I want you to think of it this way in ACSD. We're replacing the whole concept of blocking with deflecting so that we can connect and control. DCC. You're going to deflect here. If you make contact, you make contact. Right? You know, that's fine, right? So that now you can connect. You're going to have, this is going to be your connection point, and then you can control the situation, because if you don't control this problem, this becomes a problem that continues to grow on you. I can stay out here and go, okay, all day, and there she goes, and there, and it continues. And for how long are we going to block before we counter and put this thing to rest, right? Let me show you the empty hand, so I'm not going to leave you hanging with that. In CaneFlow, when you don't have the cane, it becomes fist flow, and it's the same type of movements here. You'll see them, sometimes clawing, because ACSD is very much about clawing with the empty hand, hammer fist and palm heel strikes, more so than punching, for the simple reason that when you punch, if that hand is not conditioned, greater probability of injury. So here and here, right, with these kinds of movements. So again, this is the shot that's coming here to your right-hand side. And what we do is we use the meaty portion of the forearm. In ACSD, we do not use the ulnar bone. We just don't have that because it fractures. We also don't expose the flexors because these are vital areas. Remember, you're dealing with a knife attack, not good. You don't want to expose that. So we're coming off, and look at it there. There's the deflection. I'm connected so that I can now control this situation, come in, do the takedowns, do whatever it is I'm going to do. That's your 11. Look at your number 10, because this one's a little tricky, and caners sometimes don't get this. The movement, I'll do it slow, is this, and then coming in here to come in. That's what you're dealing with. Look at the shot. Look at it again. Come again. Right? Off, and here we go. So the movement is here to here. Again, if I'm really good with this, I should not have to. Now, why don't you just take this hand and do this? Because it's designed for multiple assailants. Remember that? The movement with the cane, imagine that I have somebody holding me here. The movement is going to be this, right? Because this arm is taken, right? I'm being grabbed, and this becomes now the same thing. And here I am, nice and close, and you don't see it, but I'm stepping on her foot so that when I walk here, rack her here, that's going to damage the ligaments on the foot there. And tune in next week, because I'll be talking about that. But that just to give you an idea of what that flow is and what that represents when you're doing this, and what blocking is really like in ACSD, and how it's a little bit different with that DCC deflect to connect so that we can control. How do you learn this stuff? Easiest way to do that, to learn more about that, just go ahead and text those letters, CCC for Cane Clarity Call, to 305-745-7839. And again, we'll answer all your questions, anything. Why do we do that? We want you to get it right from the onset. It's very frustrating if you're brand new to this. There's so many canes. What's the best cane training? How do I do it? We get people all the time asking, hey, I'm in XYZ. There's no instructors. Do you know anybody you like? No, I have something better for you. Make that call. It doesn't cost you a penny. There's no obligation, and you'll find out exactly how and why. I'm Robaina for American Cane Self-Defense. Thanks for watching. Keep caning, get flowing, and stay safe.